This
What are the
conference will now be recorded.
In this session, we are going to discuss what are the topics in the development, what are the topics we are covering in development session. Okay. The first one is coming into the configuration part. Coming into the configuration part. In the configuration part, we have validation rules, right? Validation rules. When we will go with the validation rule? When we will go with the validation rule? Okay. And before saving a record, we are trying to checking. Okay. Are able to hear me, right? Everyone is able to hear me, right?
Yeah, clear, Ramesh.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Pratyusha, I think you are on mute. Okay. The problem is from your side, I think.
I think she can disconnect and join once again. Maybe some network issue.
Yeah. Okay. Coming into the validation rules. Okay. Why we have to go with the validation rules? Okay. Why we have to go with the validation rules? Okay. Before saving a record, we are trying to checking something. Data is there or not. Okay. If data is there means it is in correct format or not. It is in correct format or not. Okay. That is nothing but validation rules, right? That is nothing but validation rule. If it is not possible with the validation rule, if it is not possible with the configuration part, okay, then what is the solution? What is the solution is nothing but trigger is the solution. We have to go with the programming. We have to go with the programming. The only one option is nothing but a trigger. Here, what are the cases are not possible? What are the cases are not possible that we will discuss? That we will discuss. Okay. The first one is coming into the configuration. We have one topic. That topic is nothing but validation rules. Why we are writing validation rules is nothing but so we are checking the data while saving a record. We are checking data is there or not. Okay, this field having data or not. If it is not having, then we have to throw an error message. If it is there, then it is in correct format or not. This concept is nothing but validation rules we can achieve by using configuration. Okay, if some scenarios it is not possible by using validation rule, some scenarios it is not possible by using validation rule. Then what is the solution? We have to go with the programming. So that programming topic, that programming name, what we will call, that is nothing but a trigger. So which scenario it is not possible, that we will discuss. Okay. What is the solution? What is the alternative for the validation rule? That is nothing but a trigger. Okay. Now coming into another topic, workflows. And the next one is the process builder is there, right? Process builder. Okay. Workflows and process builder. I think one sec. Yeah. Pratisha, now are you able to hear me? Pratisha?
Yes, I just logged in from my mobile. It's
Yeah.
working good.
Okay. Fine. And workflows and process builder. Coming into the workflows and process builder. What is the functionality of the workflows? Once a record has been created, once record has been created, once record has been updated, then we want to perform some actions. Then we want to perform some actions, field update, email alert, task creation, outbound messages, all these type of actions we want to perform. Okay. Once record has been created, once record has been updated, once record has been updated, then we are performing all these four actions. Process builder is also the same thing. Process builder is nothing but it is an extension of workflows. What are the cases are not possible with the workflows, then we will go with the process builder. In the process builder, not only these actions, I mean field update, email alert, task creation. In addition to that, we are trying to calling some other actions like approve process, like apex class, like some other process, some other actions are there. Some other actions are there. So finally, workflows and the process builder is nothing but once record has been created, once record has been created, once record has been updated, they want to perform some actions. They want to perform some actions. Okay, then we have to go with the workflows and process builder. If it is not possible with the workflows and process builder, if it is not possible, some scenarios are not possible with the workflows and process builder, Then we have to go with the trigger part. We have to go with the trigger part. Okay, we have to go with the trigger part. What are the cases are not possible? We will discuss. So what is the alternative for workflows or process builder? Whenever we are coming into the development part, trigger is only the alternative. Trigger concept is only the alternative. What is the alternative for the validation rule? Whenever we are coming into the programming, that is nothing but a trigger. That is nothing but a trigger. So, and here one more thing, workflows and process builder, when it will fire, what is the evaluation criteria? You observed whenever we are coming into the evaluation criteria, created is there, updated is there. So workflows and process builder, when it will fire, created means after creating a record, okay, after creating a record, after updating a record, after updating a record, okay, after updating a record, only these two cases only workflows and process builders are applicable. Workflows and process builders are applicable for which operations, for which events it is applicable. Once record has been created, right, I want to send an email alert. Once record has been created, then I want to update some field. Once record has been created, then I want to perform a task. Then I have to go with the workflow. Once record has been created, then I want to send an outbound message. Okay? Now coming into the process builder is also the same thing. Once record has been created, once record has been updated, then we have to go with the workflows and process builder. In that case also, if it is not possible, then the only scenario is not, only topic is we have to go with the programming. In programming, which topic we have to go is nothing but a trigger part. Which topic we have to go is nothing but trigger part. Okay. Now in Salesforce, how many operations we will perform? How many operations? How many events? Events. So we will create a record, right? We will create a record, right? Okay, create a record, right? That is technically we will call it as a, we are inserting a record. That is technically we will call it as a, we are inserting a record. For every operation, there is before insert and after insert. For every operation, there is a before insert and after insert. Okay, now the next one is, what is the difference between before insert and after insert, that we will discuss. Okay, so first thing is we are trying to creating a record. Creating is nothing but technically we will call it as a insert operation. For insert, there are two types of insert, before insert and after insert. What is the difference between before insert and after insert means, that we will discuss. Now coming into here, what is the next operation? We are going to update a record, right? Just now I created one record. Once record has been created, I want to change something on that particular record. I want to change something on that particular record. That is nothing but update operation. That is nothing but update operation. So for update also, before update, before update, and after update. After update. Now I want to delete a record. I want to delete a record. So delete a record. So that is nothing but before delete, and after delete. So I want to revert back my record. I want to revert back. How we will revert back the record? Suppose I will delete a record. It will permanently delete. It will hard to delete, or it will stay somewhere. It will stay somewhere, right? That is nothing but under recycle bin, right? Suppose we will not permanently delete. Permanently delete is nothing but hard to delete. Suppose we will not perform hard to delete, then it will go and stay in the recycle bin, right? Now I want to revert back that particular record. Revert back is nothing but undelete. So here we have after and delete operation, after and delete operation. So in the Salesforce, these are all the operation. We will create a record, we will update a record, we will delete a record, we will undelete a record. Okay, creating is nothing but technically we will call it as a insert operation. For every insert, two types of things are there. One is before insert and after insert. Another one is before update and after update. And before delete, after delete, after undelete. Okay, workflows and process builders are applicable only for after insert and after update case only. Once record has been created, once record has been updated, in that scenarios, workflows and process builders are applicable. If some cases are not possible with the workflows and process builder, then that one also we will go with the trigger part. So what I am trying to say is, Workflows and process builders, it is applicable for after insert and after update case. So some requirements it is not possible. I mean, after insert and after update is also not possible with the workflows and process builder. Then what is the solution? Is nothing but trigger is the solution. We have to go with the trigger part. We have to go with the trigger part. And now coming into here, before insert, before update, or delete operation, undelete operation. For all these cases, we have the only one solution. Means we have flow builder is there, but that is not the best solution. The best solution is nothing but a trigger. Trigger is the best solution. We have flow builders are there. Flow builders, okay, flow builders are there. Flow builders, in flow builders, different types of flow builders are there. Record trigger flows are there, but this is not the best solution. We have to go with the trigger part only. We have to go with the trigger part. Forget about the flows here. Forget about the flows. So up to now, which topic we are going to discussing? Trigger. When we have to go with the trigger? When we have to go with the trigger? Suppose I am trying to saving a record. While saving a record, I want to check something. Data is there or not? In that case, if data is not there, then I want to display an error message. First we have to check with the validation rule, if it is possible with the validation rule or not. If it is not possible, then what is the alternative? We have to go with the programming. We have to go with the programming. In the programming, which topic we will go? Trigger we will go. First we have to understand for this requirement which topic is suitable. Okay, so here we have to go with the trigger part. Here we have to go with the trigger part. Now coming into here, workflows and process builder is there, right? Workflows and process builder. When we have to go with the workflows, when we have to go with the process builder, once a record has been created or once a record has been updated, once record has been created and once record has been updated, then that is nothing but after insert and after update case. If it is not possible with the workflows and process builder, what is not possible? What is not possible? That we'll discuss. The only solution is we have to go with the programming. In the programming, which topic we have to go is nothing but a trigger. And remaining scenarios, when we will go with the trigger is nothing but delete operation, after and delete operation, before insert operation, and the next one is before update operation. For all these cases, the only one option is nothing but a trigger. If it is not possible with the validation rule, if it is not possible with the workflows, and it is not possible with the process builder. And one more point is, when this triggers it will fire. Workflows, when it will fire, I have to tell, you have to go and fire this workflow. We have to tell to the system, or system it will only understand. When process builders it will fire, so we have to tell to the system, or system automatically it will understand. Okay, suppose I created one workflow rule. Suppose we created one workflow rule in account object. If rating is equals to warm, then I want to perform some operation. This is my workflow condition, and my action is nothing but email alert. Okay, this is my workflow rule, and this is in active mode, and this is in account object. Now I am trying to creating a record. The system automatically verify was any workflow rules are there in this object. Yes, workflow rule is there, then automatically it will find. So here the topic is, whenever we are creating a record or updating a record, automatically the system it will verify, right? Any workflow rules are there. The same case whenever we are coming into the trigger, when we are creating a record or updating a record or deleting a record, or undeleting a record, then the system automatically check any trigger is there in this particular object. Yes, trigger is there, then it will fire. So workflows, when it will fire, process builder, when it will fire, we have to tell to the system, or system automatically search. System automatically search, right? System automatically search. I'm trying to creating one account record. While creating an account record, the system automatically search any workflow rules are there on this particular object. Yes, workflow rules are there, then I will check the condition satisfied, then I will file that particular action. So like that, triggers is also nothing but it is automated process. The system only check while creating a record or updating a record or deleting a record or undeleting a record, the system automatically check. The system automatically verify any trigger is there on that particular object. Any trigger is there on that particular object. Then it will automatically fire. Then it will automatically fire. So finally, when we are going to use the triggers, when we are going to use the triggers, instead of it is not possible with the validation rule. Trigger is the only solution. It is not possible with the workflow rules and process builder. Trigger is only the solutions. Workflows and process builders, it will fire after creating a record or after updating a record. But I want before creating a record, before updating a record, for delete operation and delete operation, then trigger is the solution. When trigger, it will fire. We have to tell to the system, or system only search. System only it will search, right? So whenever we are creating a record or updating a record or deleting a record or undeleting a record, the system, it will verify any object, any trigger is there on that particular object. Yes, trigger is there. Then it will fire. Okay. Then it will fire. Any questions on this one? Any questions on this one? Which scenarios are not possible? That we'll discuss. But first we have to remember what is the alternative for this one. If I will go with the validation rule, if it is not, for some cases it is not achieving with the validation rule, then how we are going to achieve? We have to go with the programming. In the programming, what is the solution? Trigger is the solution. Trigger is the solution. Workflows and process builder, if it is not possible, then what is the solution? Trigger is the solution. Then suppose I am trying to creating a record. While creating a record, I want to do some operation. Then what is the solution? Trigger is the solution. When triggers are, it will fire. That we have to remember. So what are the possible, which scenarios are not possible, that we will discuss. First, we have to remember which topic is the alternative for this one. So trigger is the alternative for the validation rule, workflows, process builders. Okay. Any questions on this one? Any questions? How to write a trigger? Where we write a trigger? That not yet discussed. Okay. That we'll discuss. First, we have to understand which topic is there. When we will go with this topic, that we have to understand. Okay. Any questions on this one? Any questions? So finally, trigger is alternative for validation rule. Trigger is alternative for process builder and workflows. Not only this case, while creating a record or updating a record, deletion operation and delete operation, trigger is the alternative. Trigger is the alternative. Okay. And one more point, how many types of versions we have? Classic version is there and lightning version is there, right? Classic version and the lightning version. What is the difference between those two versions? UI only. UI only. The presentation, how we are presenting the data to the user, that is only the different. That is only the different, right? In the UI, the record looks like this. Go to here. In the lightning version, coming into account object, I am trying to creating one account record. I'm trying to creating one account record. Go to here. Click on this new button. Click on this new button. Click on the next. See, click on the next. So the UI looks like this in the lightning version. In the lightning version, the same account to tab coming into the classic version. Coming into the classic version. How to switch into the classic version? How to switch into the classic version? Go to here. Switch to Salesforce Classic. Okay, switch to Salesforce Classic. Now go to account to tab. Go to here, account to tab. Click on this new button. Click on this new button and select any one of the record type. See, this is the classic version. Suppose we are trying to creating new account record. So this is the UI in the classic version. Suppose we are trying to creating same account record in the lightning version. This is the UI. So what is the difference between classic version and the lightning version? Only how we are presenting the data to the user. How we are presenting the data to the user, that is nothing but UI. UI part is only the difference. So coming into trigger concept is the same both in lightning version and classic version. So suppose I am trying to creating a record. Suppose I am trying to creating a record. I will enter all this data, click on the save button. Once click on the save button, what system it will do? Any validation rules are there. Any workflow rules are there, any process builder is there, any trigger is there, any trigger is there, then it will verify, right? So once click on the save button, I'm trying to saving my record. I'm trying to saving my record. Then the system it will verify how you are saving a record, which UI you are using. That the system it will not it will not verify. You are saving data. You are saving one record. Whether you are using classic version or lightning version, it doesn't matter. You are clicking on the save button. Once you will click on the save button, then what is my responsibility? I have to verify in account object any validation rules are there, any workflow rules are there, any process builders are there, any triggers are there. So what I am trying to say is trigger concept is same both in lightning version and the classic version, both in lightning version and the classic version. Trigger concept is same both in the lightning version and the classic version. Why? So whenever we are coming into the lightning version, I am trying to working with the account record. I'm trying to creating one new account record. So we entered all the details and click on the save button. Then what system it will do? Once click on the save button, the system it will verify any account records are there, any triggers are there, any validation rule, any process builder, any workflow rules are there. So finally, system it will verify whenever record is saving. How you are saving? You are using you are using UI part. You are using UI. You are using one screen. That screen how they design by using lightning version or classic version. It doesn't matter. Once click on the save button, then only the system it will verify any trigger is there in that particular object or not. So that's why trigger concept is same both in the classic version and the lightning version. So up to now, what we learn related to the trigger? Trigger is alternative for validation rule. Trigger is alternative for workflows and process builder. Not only these two cases, whenever we are creating a record or updating a record for delete operation, undelete operation, so we want to do something, then trigger is the solution. Trigger is the solution. And in lightning version and the classic version, trigger concept is same. So trigger concept is same. Okay. Any questions on this one? If it is not possible with the trigger means there is no scenario like that. There is no scenario. All cases it is possible with the trigger. All cases. So if it is not possible with the trigger, then which is in where we have to go? Some drawbacks are there with the trigger. Then we have to go with the asynchronous process that we will discuss. Okay, that we'll discuss. So if it is not possible with the trigger, no, that case is not there. That case is not there. So we will discuss one topic. That topic is nothing but a trigger. When we have to go with the trigger means, so we have to remember whenever we will get a requirement. I want to write one validation rule. If this case is not possible with the configuration, then we have to remember alternative is nothing but trigger only for remaining cases also. Any questions on this trigger? How to write, that we'll discuss. Okay, that we'll discuss. First we have to understand what are the topics are there, which is alternative whenever we are coming into the configuration part, validation rule, workflows, which is alternative. That is nothing but a trigger. Any questions on this one? Any questions? Okay, now coming into here. So now UI design. UI design. Okay. In classic version, we have two versions are there. Right? Classic version. In the classic version, I want to design my UI. How we will design? How we will design? This is my UI. UI is nothing but a user interface. User interface is nothing but user, he will go to here and he will enter the data. That is technically the common terminology is nothing but UI, user interface. I want to design my UI. In the classic version, we want to design our user interface. How we will design our user interface in the classic version? Without writing in programming, I'm saying that is nothing but page layout, right? In classic version, how we are going to design our UI? That is nothing but page layout, right? Page layout. Okay. If it is not possible, if it is not possible with the page layout, my requirement is, okay. Go to, I will already one UI developed. Okay. Second, such accounts. So if it is not possible with the page layout, then what is the alternative? What is the alternative? See this, I want to develop this screen. What is my requirement coming into here? My requirement is I want to develop one UI. I want to develop one UI. This is my UI. Okay, this is my UI. enter account name. Okay, enter account name means you will enter account name here and click on the search button. Click on the search button. For example, you will enter test here. So we are trying to developing one UI. We are trying to developing one UI. UI is nothing but user interface. Why we will use the terminology user interface is nothing but it is a common terminology. It is a common terminology. User is giving input on this screen. That is nothing but we will use the terminology UI. We are trying to developing one UI in the classic version. Generally, how we will develop? By using page layout only, right? By using page layout. By using page layout. Okay. Now coming into here. So my requirement is in the classic version. My requirement is we want to develop one user interface. Here, what is the functionality? What is the functionality here? User he will enter here the account name. Enter account name here. Enter account name and click on the search button. And click on the search button. Then my requirement is I want to display all the account records. In account object, how many records are there? In account object, how many records are there with the name test? I want to display all these account records here. This is my requirement. This is my requirement. Is it possible with the configuration part? I want to develop this user interface in the classic version. So is it possible with the page layout? No, right? Is it possible with the page layout? No, right? Then what is the solution for this one? What is the solution for this one is nothing but in classic version we will develop user interface by using visual force space. Okay, by using visual force space. By using visual force space we will just go on right. Okay, by using visual force space, this UI we want to develop in the classic version, then we will just go and write a visual force space and business logic we will implement in the Apex class. Okay, Apex class. So in the classic version, suppose we want to develop user interface and it is not possible with the page layout, then the only solution is visual force space. So visual force space and business logic we will write inside Apex class, and the business logic we will write inside Apex class. Okay. Now coming into the lightning version. In lightning version suppose we want to develop UI, how we will develop? That is nothing but a record page, right? Record page or flexi page, right? Or flexi page. Record page or flexi page. Go to here. Suppose we entered all these details and click on the save button. Click on the save button. So this is nothing but a record page, right? This is nothing but record page. This is nothing but record page or flexi page. In the lightning version we will call it as a record page or flexi page. Record page or flexi page. Okay, record page or flexi page which include page layout. Under detail tab it contain page layout, right? Already we discussed. So if it is not possible with the lightning, if it is not possible with the record page or flexi page, then how we are going to develop? Means my requirement is the same thing. This is my requirement. We want to develop in the lightning. We want to develop in the lightning. Suppose we want to develop in the classic version. How we will develop? We have to go visual force space and the corresponding Apex class we will write. Corresponding Apex class we will write. The same UI we want to develop in the lightning. Then how we will develop? In the lightning we have Aura is there. Whenever we are coming into the lightning development, Aura is there and lightning LWC is there. LWC means lightning web component. Lightning web component. Based on our project, we will use either Aura or LWC. We will use either Aura or LWC. So finally, suppose we want to develop one user interface and we are working with the classic version, then we have to go with the visual force space and the corresponding Apex class. Okay. Now coming into the lightning. In the lightning, which one you are using? Aura you are using? In your project we are using Aura or we are using LWC? LWC is nothing but lightning web component. Based on that we will develop Aura component or we will develop LWC component. Finally in Aura or LWC Finally, we have to implement the business logic inside Apex class only. Inside Apex class only. Inside Apex class. What is this business logic? Here you have to observe. Here UI design visual for space. Business logic Apex class. Lightning Aura UI design. Business logic inside Apex class. LWC, I mean UI design and business logic inside Apex class. What I am trying to say is my UI is like this. My UI is like this. See, this is my screen. This is my screen. This is my screen. Okay. Here you will just go and enter account name. Enter account name and click on the submit button. Click on the submit button. Okay. Once click on the submit button, then what we have to do? I want to check your enter here account name as a test. I want to check in account object any records are there with the name test. So that kind of logic we will write in the Apex class. That kind of logic we will write in the Apex class. Finally, the business logic we will implement in the Apex class, whether it is a classic version or Lightning Aura or LWC. Finally, we will implement our business logic. What do you mean by business logic? We will understand clearly. Just try to understand the terminologies and all those things. Whenever we are entered into the concept, that time we will understand each and everything. So now coming into the classic version or lightning version, okay, we are trying to developing user interface. User interface is nothing but it is taking the data from the user. User will go to here and enter account name as a test and click on the submit button. When click on the submit button, what is my requirement? I want to check in account to table is there. This is my account to table, or this is my account object. In account object any records are there with the name test. I want to display. I want to display. So that logic, that is nothing but business logic. That business logic will implement inside Apex class. Once we implement it, once we find these records are there, finally we will display those records to the users. Where we are displaying to the user? In the UI. In the UI we are displaying. In the UI we are trying to displaying, right? In the UI we are trying to displaying. Finally, UI is nothing but to take the data from the user or to display the data to the user. Once we take the data, I want to perform business logic on that data, then that is nothing but Apex class only. Apex class only. So what I am trying to say is, suppose we want to develop one user interface. What do you mean by user interface? User interface is nothing but it will take the data from the user, it will take the data from the user, or it will display data to the user. It will display data to the user. So that UI we are trying to developing in the classic version, that is nothing but by using visual for space only. In the visual for space, we write business logic inside Apex class. Whenever we are coming into the lightning, whenever we are coming into the lightning, okay. So suppose we want to develop user interface by using Aura, then that is nothing but business logic Apex class only. Suppose we are trying to developing our UI by using web component, then we have to implement our business logic Apex class only. So finally, Visual Force pages or Lightning Aura or Lightning LWC is nothing but to present the data to the user. To present the data to the user or to take the data from the user. Once we will take the data from the user, now I want to perform some operation on that data. That is nothing but business logic. That business logic finally will write inside Apex class only. So this is only the difference. Whenever we are coming into the classic version or lightning version, what is the difference is nothing but UI design. In the classic version, we will develop our user interface by using Visual Force Space. Whenever we are coming into the lightning, we have Aura is there, LWC is there. Based on our project, by using Aura, we will develop our UI, and by using LWC, we will develop our UI. So finally, in all cases, we will implement our business logic finally in the Apex class only. Okay. Any questions on this one? Any questions? So now we are clear, right? Now we are clear. Two topics are there. Up to now we discussed two topics. One is trigger. When we have to go with the trigger? When we have to go with the trigger? So it is alternative for the validation rule. It is alternative for workflows and process builder. Plus creating a record, updating a record, plus deleting a record, plus undeleting a record. Just we remember Where to write, which scenarios are not possible, that we'll discuss. We have to remember, if this is not possible, then what is the alternative? So trigger is the alternative. Now coming into UI design. UI design is nothing but UI, that is common terminology. User interface. User interface is nothing but we are taking the data from the user or we are displaying the data to the user. So now I want to develop one screen. That screen, it will take the data from the user. Yes, where you are developing. In classic version you are developing, yes, you have to go and use Visual Force pages. Okay. So now you are developing in the Lightning Aura. Lightning, yes, in Lightning, by using Aura we will develop, and by using LWC we will develop. Okay. So based on our project, we will discuss both. We will discuss. Okay. First we have to discuss with the Visual Force page, then we will go with the Aura. Finally we will discuss LWC. Okay. So now we are clear, right? UI design, classic version means Visual Force page. Lightning version, two things are there. One is Aura, one is LWC. When we have to go with the Aura, when we have to go with the LWC means that is not in our hand. That is in our project. We are working with the project, right? Based on that project, our client is using LWC or our client is using Aura. Okay. Based on that. Okay. Any questions on this one? Any questions? Okay. Now, in addition to that, we have asynchronous process is there. Asynchronous process. Okay. This asynchronous process, synchronous process, two processes are there. This is the general concept. This is the general concept. What do you mean by synchronous process? Two processes are there. Synchronous process, asynchronous process. Okay. So in any programming languages, two processes are there. Asynchronous process and a synchronous process is there. Okay. What do you mean by synchronous process and asynchronous process is nothing but synchronous process is nothing but making a request, immediately I'm getting a response. Immediately I'm getting a response. I will just make a request. I'm just asking you. Immediately will give a response. That is nothing but synchronous process. Salesforce is synchronous process or asynchronous process? Salesforce is synchronous process or asynchronous process? For example, go to contact tab. Click on the contact tab. Immediately it is showing, right? For example, click on this new button. Immediately my UI is opening, right? I will enter all these details here. I will enter all these details. Click on the save button. Immediately my record is getting saved, right? So I'm requesting. Requesting in the sense means I'm click on the contact. I'm requesting. I'm click on the new button. I'm requesting. Immediately I'm getting a response. That is nothing but sequence process. Salesforce by default it will run in synchronous mode. Synchronous mode in the sense means I'm just requesting, immediately getting a response. That is nothing but synchronous mode. The system it is designed by default it will run in the synchronous mode. Synchronous mode it will run. So synchronous mode, what do you mean by synchronous mode means I will ask you, immediately will give a response. That is applicable, that is coming into the Salesforce. Go to the contact tab or any tab, you have to observe, go to here cases, click on the cases, immediately it is coming, right? Click on this new button, immediately here it is coming, right? Click on this next, immediately it is coming, right? I'm requesting, immediately it is coming. Requesting, requesting response immediately. Immediate response, I'm saying immediate response. That is nothing but synchronous process. Salesforce by default, all these things, triggers, workflows, process builder, validation rules, everything, Salesforce system it will default defaults it will run in the synchronous mode. Synchronous mode, triggers and everything, workflows, process builder, validation rule, everything it will run in the synchronous mode. Then what do you mean by asynchronous process? Asynchronous process means, asynchronous process in the sense means I will request, but it will not give response immediately. Then when it will give the response? When it will give the response? Backend it will run the process. Backend it will run the process. Okay. Backend it will run the process based on the server availability. Just remember the terminology. Okay. I will request. I'm just asking. Immediately will not give the response, but you should give the response. But you will give the response. When you will give, that depends. The here based on which one it depends. What I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is coming into here. So this is synchronous process. I'm just requesting, immediately it will give the response. That is nothing but synchronous process. Request, Immediate response. Immediate response. That is nothing but sequence process. Salesforce by default it will run sequence mode. Whatever the triggers, workflows, process builder, all the things, all the system, it is designed sequence process. So what do you mean by sequence means immediately it will give the response, right? So immediately we need a response. That's why the system is designed sequence. Any application is designed like this by default. By default, sequence process immediately we are getting a response. Now coming into asynchronous process. Now coming into asynchronous process. I'm just requesting. So it will give the response. It will give the response. I'm just requesting. It will give the response. But when it will give the response, I'm not guaranteed. So I'm not guaranteed. That is nothing but it will give the response. So based on the server, here we have one server is there. We will send our request. So in the server it will process. In the server it will process. When it will finish, then it will give the response. That is nothing but we are just making a request and it will give the response. It should give the response, but when it will give the response, it will take some time. How much time it will take? That is based on the server. That is based on the server availability. What is the server availability that we'll discuss? Okay, so in a sequence process we will make a request, but immediately we will not get response, but we should get a response. At any cost we will get a response. When we will get a response? 2 minutes, 1 minute, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, at no, 20 minutes? How much time it will take? So how we are going to decide? I will not decide. The server it will decide. We have one server. So we are sending a request, then it will go to the server. In the server, it will execute. Then based on the server availability, it will give. That is nothing but asynchronous process. Asynchronous process. These two concepts are common in any programming language. Common in any programming language. So Salesforce by default, it will run synchronous process, making a request and immediately we are getting a response. Okay. Asynchronous process making a request and we will get a response, but we are not sure when we will get a response. Then based on which it will depend. When we will get a response is nothing but based on server availability we will get a response. Server availability we will get a response. So why we have to go with the asynchronous process? First of all, why we have to go with the asynchronous process? So Salesforce by default it is running synchronous process, right? Then why we have to go with the asynchronous process? Okay, I will make a request, immediately I want a response. I will make a request, I have to wait. Why I have to wait? Some cases are there. That cases is nothing but asynchronous process. In Salesforce we will implement asynchronous process by using batchable batchable okay, batchable interface. Okay, and the next one is cubal interface, and the next one is cubal interface, cubal interface, and the next one is future method. How to write, where to write, when we have to go a signal process, that we'll discuss today. Ours is a demo session. In this demo session, what are the topics are there? Just remembering all these things. Okay, this topic is there, this topic is there. So asynchronous process is nothing but cubal interface, batchable interface, future method. Why we have to go with the asynchronous process? Why I have to wait? I will not wait. So some scenarios are there, we have to wait, we should wait. So we have to implement asynchronous process by using batchable, cubal interface and feature method. Any questions on this one? Any questions? Okay, now coming into here, another topic is test class. Okay, we have to write a test class, and another one is here, another one is custom setting. Okay, custom setting, custom metadata, and REST API. We will discuss. This is coming into integration. We will discuss one real-time example. That is enough. That is nothing but REST integration. REST API. Whenever we are coming integration, these are the topics which we are going to cover in our development session. First 5 sessions, 4 or 5 sessions. From tomorrow is the first session. In the first session, we are going to discuss what is a class. Okay, what is the variables? What is the variables? What is methods? What is constructor? What is constructor? What is static variables? Static variable. What is static method? What is static methods? What is collections? What is collections? Okay, collections. In first 4 to 5 sessions, the basic information we will discuss. Basic information. I will write one class. So we have to remember how to write a class, where we have to write a class, why we have to write a class. Forget about that. In the next week, we will enter in our actual requirement. So in our actual we will enter for our actual requirement in the next week. In the next week, we will enter into our actual requirements. Okay. So first 4 to 5 sessions are our responsibilities are we have to remember the syntax. So the class, I will ask you, write a class. So we are in a position class name. We have to provide some name, open curly braces, close curly braces, like that. Class contains variables, method, constructor, everything we will discuss. We have to remember. We have to remember. Suppose we want to write a class means like this, I have to write. Suppose I want to declare one variable in the sense means we have to declare like this. Suppose I want to write constructor means like this. Static variables, collection, everything we have to remember. We have to remember the syntaxes. Okay, which is useful, that only and we are discussing which is useful, which is useful. Okay, each and everything we will discuss, each and everything we will discuss. Once 5 sessions are completed, then you will understand. I will go to the UI design. I will try to develop one UI. I will try to develop one UI by in the classic version and the lightning version. First we will develop in the classic version by using visual force space. That time we will implement our business logic inside apex class, inside apex class. So that time you will understand. That time you will understand. So first 5 sessions, our responsibility is we have to remember. We have to remember how to write a class, how to declare a variable, how to create a constructor, how to create a method, how to create an instance. Okay, everything we have to remember. First 4 to 5 sessions, I will provide basic syntaxes. Those syntaxes, how we are going to implement in the real time, that we'll discuss in the next session. Next session we will start from the basic itself. We will start from the basic itself. Okay, and this is for